Cats on History's Page by Anthony Henderson Euwer. Read for LibriVox.org by Anita Sloma Martinez. Cats on History's Page. The Compass Cat. Cats has wonderful bumps of directions and can tell which way the earth is no matter how far they've been fallen from. Cats is even better than compasses, 'cause their hairs is all magnetic poles which can be heard cracking by rubbing the fur with the human hand. That's why cats can't never get lost, 'cept when they're drownded. Long, long ago, cats was used by the Chinese instead of compasses for steering their ships. This was done by putting the cat on the behind end of the boat, and then whichever way the cats pointed their tails, they steered the ship. Course sometimes the ships got wrecked, but that wasn't the cat's fault, for sometimes the wind would blow their tails different from the way they had 'em pointing. Course when cats do get lost, they most always come back, but if they ever don't, 'tain't 'cause they can't, but 'cause they maybe don't want to. But I'd never come back if I was some cats that live some places I know. But cats is wonderful good-hearted that way and don't seem to mind nothing. Cats on History's Page. Wild Cats. In olden times, witches was furnished with cats, and at night time they used to go screeching round through the air with the witches on their backs, with great big eyes like fire in the dark, and gee, but they must have been terrible big cats to carry the witches. Glad I wasn't there. And then the witches, they used to beat 'em with the broom switches that they had, so that the cats was jest wild to get away, so that's what made 'em wild cats. Cats on History's Page. The Sacred Cat. Long time ago, way back in Egypt, they was awful fond of cats. Uncle Ben says they jest worshipped them. And sometimes cats was found the color of red sacks that they kept coffee in, and these was called sacred cats, and was specially honored by being buried alive with the dead kings and things. Gee, I'd hate to been a sacred cat. Cats on History's Page. The Knights of Malta. In Malta far, which is a isle, out in the wavy seas, a breed of cats was once the style, and they was called Maltese. Long, lean, and healthful was they each, and they could yowl like blazes all through the night from dusk till light in 90 different places. But all the people wasn't Jobs when anger's ire was riz, so once in all their nightly robes they up and got to biz. Some cats was mobbed, some cats was sloon, and some fleed to the sea, skedaddling out into the moon, far from their loved country. And folks that night they swore a oath, and some crisscrossed their chests, and some there was performed them both in memory of the pests. To celebrate that welcome loss, they called the crisscross rite a Maltese cross, to show how cross they was that fearful night. The Knights of Malta you've all heard tell of on History's Page. Well, these was those that once occurred in that catastrous age. End of section. This recording is in the public domain.